Are you ready to make the next 90 days your bitch? I know you are. I am. We all are. It's no secret that I kind of entered my flop era a little bit for a couple years. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. You can say it. You knew it. I know you knew it. It's fine. How many times did I say I was going to come back on YouTube? I'd post one video and then ghost for 9 months. Yeah. How many times did I say I was going to post every day on Instagram, post for 5 days, ghost? How many times I'd be like, I'm coming back on the podcast, ghost. I'm doing this, ghost. Yeah, I was flopping a little bit. I mean, listen, give me some grace. My mom literally passed, okay? I think I can use that as a write-off in this situation. But sometimes things just happen and we enter a flop era out of nowhere and it sucks, okay? But what happened is when you enter a flop era, sometimes you kind of convince yourself you enjoy the flop. I convinced myself that I was okay with my career completely flopping and like not taking it seriously anymore because I didn't want to admit to myself, no, taking all that time off when my mom passed, I deserve to do that. But like the algorithm didn't like it at first and I wasn't being consistent and then I was embarrassed about it. And so I just let it keep going until it was like as bad as it could be. Yeah. I did that. But now I'm actually back. I've had friends come up to me, like reach out to me and stuff, like, oh my gosh, I can tell you're like really back this time. Like, I am back. And I don't want anyone else to be going through this, okay? If you are in your flop era and you're like, you know what, I am ready to take life and make it what I deserve it to be, what I want it to be, this one is for you. I'm going to give you the step-by-step, play-by-play of what you need to be doing to go from your flop era. I think this is from JC Marie. She's like, after every flop is a slay, okay? This is how you're going to take your life from your flop era to your slay era, okay? In 90 days. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to figure out what the heck you want to do for the next 90 days. What are your goals? What is it that you are actually trying to achieve? I need you to make a list, okay? And then I need you to take that list and I need you to visualize it, okay? I need you to pause after you have your list of what you want to do. I want you to sit down, play some music, look up like motivational, I can put some links actually down below, motivational visualization music. That always helps. And I want you to visualize it and make sure it's right. Because the first thing that happens of why we don't achieve our goals is we settle. If you visualize the goals you wrote down and you're not jumping for joy after, they're not the right goals or they're not big enough. They don't scare you enough. You want to close your eyes and when you're done, you want to feel like Superman, but you also want to feel like you're kind of scared shitless because these are some big goals. When I close my eyes, you want me to say it out loud? I see myself making this podcast something where I'm walking out on a stage one day and I'm like, hey guys, we're doing an in-person podcast. Welcome to the It Gets Better podcast live. That is scary as heck. I see myself bringing my main channel back so big that like I have this wonderful group of, like I always considered you guys on my YouTube channel like my friends. Like, all of my friends come back and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot you existed. But hey girl, we're back. Yes, I see that. I see myself writing a book and doing a book tour. I see that. Do I want to admit that? No. When I first started this and I wrote down my goals, I wrote down, well, I think I just want to I want to start filming again. And I want to get like just some listeners on my podcast. No, girl, that did not excite me enough. If it doesn't excite you enough, it's not working. Because I learned that obviously sometimes we just have actual anxiety, but the same thing that makes us like scared and anxious can also make us excited. So you want your goal to be so big that you're kind of scared of it, but you want to turn that scared energy into excitement. Whenever you start to get scared of those goals, I want you to like do something to make you excited. I want you to visualize when it comes to fruition, when it comes true, and like how good it's going to feel, and let that anxious energy, like when you're already like built up and like shaky, turn it into excited energy every single time. When I learned this, I think Noah taught me this, it works so freaking well. I think he learned it from one of his jobs, like in like a tech company, they like teach their employees this. Like when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do my first, video podcast today. I'm going to the studio. I'm really scared. What if I suck? No, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to, while I have that, like all this energy, I'm going to turn it into excited energy. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I see all these people listening. They're clapping on the other end of the screen being like, this is some good stuff. This is going to change my life. And I'm like, oh, now I'm ready to go. Okay? You also, so what would I like to call that though? That like energy when we're not letting ourselves really feel it is settling energy. You don't want to settle on your goals before you even started. You don't want to give up on the 100% before you even start and just say, oh, 50% will be enough. No, like you might have to go through the 50% until you get to the 100%, and you should cheer yourself on along the way and take every single milestone and like reward yourself. Yes. But when you're writing down your goals, you want to feel that 100%. You want to know where you're going. You want to know where the end result is that is so big that you have motivation to go to the 50%. Think about when you have a goal to go to the gym. The goal of just like going to the gym 3 times a week is so freaking boring. That does not get me up off the couch. That does not take me away from Vanderpump or Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But when I have a goal of like, oh, I don't want to run a marathon. This is just an example. If I had a goal of running a half marathon or something, that gets me up off the couch to go run at the gym, because I'm like, oh, I got to show up to this marathon. I gotta go. That's what Noah did. He said he wanted to become a runner. I talked about this in a previous episode. He signed up for the New York City Marathon, was like, well, I have a year. He signed up a year in advance. He's like, I have a year. I guess I gotta become a runner. That got him off the couch. He didn't say, no, he didn't make the goal of, oh, I want to start running. No, that was something he had to do along the way. But the big goal has to get you off the couch. You don't want to settle. Sometimes I think when we have this settling energy, one, we lack motivation to go after it. 2, it tells the universe you're not ready to go all in on yourself. You're not ready to be brave. And I think the universe rewards boldness. Let the universe reward you for being bold, okay? Big moves make big changes, okay? A tiny little, you got to make big moves, okay? Okay. I just said okay like 40 times. Next. Then I want you to take those big goals. Once you know they're exciting enough, cross the ones off if you had to rethink it and make it bigger. And then I want you to take each goal, and I want you to do like those little spider legs where you like do like one goal and there's like 2 little legs out of it, or you know what I'm talking about? And I want you to write down all the steps you have to take to get to the big goals. So if my goal is to have a live podcast show one day, then I got to post an episode every single week. I need to have a video podcast so there's an element where they see what I look like so they also want to come see me on stage one day. I need to take it seriously, and I needed to get a studio. I need to get guests on the show, and then I can write down what guests I want if I have ideas. I need to have a really good niche and topic for it. There's like all these different things I need to do. You need to write down every single aspect you need to do. And then comes the important part. I want you to pick the aspects you can contribute to, and I want you to pick the most important ones, and that's all I want you to focus on for 90 days. We don't want to run a marathon yet. We're working towards the marathon, but right now I want you to focus on the sprints, 90-day sprints. We overestimate how much we can do in a day or a week. We underestimate how much we can do in 90 days. If you give yourself 90 days to focus on something, I know we're like, oh, but I want it now. We got to be patient. When you give yourself 90 days, that is enough time to see actual movement and to see what you can do. So, for example, if you want to run a marathon a year from now, then for the next 90 days, you need to start off by being able to run. You have to work, maybe you want to work your way up to 5 miles. So for the first week, you want to run 1 mile. Or you want to run a half a mile, and then 1 mile, then 1.5, then 2. You see what I'm saying? You're going to work your way up. That way you know what you need to do for the next 90 days. You don't want to just put like, oh, I need to run. I need to focus on running. No, give yourself a 90-day goal of what you need to achieve. And then at the end of that 90 days, because sometimes when our goal is going to take a while, we think, oh, we're not making progress. So if we break that big goal down, we know what our end goal is. We know what we're working towards, but we break it down into smaller ones. When we achieve those smaller things, our reward system is tapped into, and we actually start to see our progress. When you don't see your progress, you start to lose motivation. You start to think it's not happening. So when you're like, oh my gosh, wait, my first goal was to run a half a mile. I did that today. Wait, I'm now running 1 mile. Oh my gosh, I'm running 2 miles now. I'm making progress. I may not feel like I can run the marathon yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there step by step. And that is motivating. But even if you don't do it without being like conscious and cognizant of that being a goal too, you're not going to feel the reward system. I don't know why our brains work like this, because if you don't have that as a goal, you're like, oh man, I still have so much farther to go. But if you know for your 90 days, you just have to reach like this little chunk of it, it doesn't seem like, oh, I have so much farther to go. It's like, no, wait, I'm making moves. You're making moves. I want you to have the best 90-day sprints. Come up with like 3 things max for your goals that you can do. So for mine, my 90-day sprints right now is 1 vlog every single week, 1 podcast every single week. And then my other one is like, one of my goals is that I want to I was just like, it's like a fitness one, but I'm trying to like make it where I would like to just feel really strong in my body. I actually haven't that's the thing. It's okay if you don't know the end result of all of them. There's like some stuff going on outside. I don't know the end result yet of my fitness one. I don't know what I want because sometimes we were also incorrectly focused. For a long time, my focus with my fitness was the way I looked, and that never made me motivated. I realized that's just not, I'm not doing that. I don't care about that. You think you do, and then you get there and you just always are picking yourself apart. You can't hate yourself into a body you love. So right now, I think my big fitness goal is to be really strong, and it's okay to not, every single goal doesn't have to be super like niche. Like one of mine is, like I said, to have a live podcast one day. Other one is to grow my YouTube channel back up. The other one can be more of a niche one. That one is, again, I just want to feel really strong. But that goal of feeling strong, that does motivate me. When I close my eyes and I see myself in the gym being able to pick up heavy weights, or I see myself just like being able to run alongside my friends and like being able to keep up, going to a workout class and being like, I can actually complete it, that actually makes me emotional. Because for so long, I could get an ab line, but I couldn't do anything that was actually keeping me in shape. I went to physical therapy because my knee was like falling apart, and it's like, oh, but I can do this and I have abs. That's not good enough, girl. You got to take care of yourself in a different way. I want to be able to run around when I'm older and stuff, you know? And seeing my grandma, like I love her to death, but seeing that she struggles to wash her own hair because she can't lift her arms up, I want to be able to wash my own hair when I get older. You know, I'm like, that motivates me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be strong. So right now for my 90-day goal is like for the next 90 days, I simply want to walk 10,000 steps. I want an average of about 10,000 steps a day, every single day. And I want to do an extra exercise like a yoga, a gym, whatever, 2 to 3 days a week. Okay. And I think I want to do 3 days a week, most of them, but like when I'm on my period, I'm gonna let myself have 2, because we're working. I also don't want to overdo it where I can't, at the end of the 90 days, I didn't achieve this because I set it up to be something that was too far off. That I can do because there are some days when I only get 5,000 steps in, and then I'm like, you know what, I'll get on the treadmill for 30 minutes. That gave me an extra 4,000 steps. Maybe I didn't get 10,000, but another day maybe I got 12 because walking around in the city, you get some steps. That was my average every week has gotten up. Currently, my average for the week, which used to be like 3,000 steps, it is now at 8,000. So by the end of my 90 days, I want my average to be 10,000. See, I'm making progress. I'm getting there. And I don't have to do it overnight. It's not like, oh my gosh, I went from 0 to 100 and I burned myself out. It's like, no, I just have to get to this by the end of the 90 days. And then maybe my next 90-day sprint will be, I would like to walk 10,000 steps every single day. Not an average, but every single day I want to walk 10,000 steps. And maybe I'll work out 3 days a week, every single week, my next 90-day sprint. But I'm not in those 90 days yet. And it also lets you take a break from some things. Maybe you have some goals that you're a little burnt out on. You can kind of put them on the back burner for 90 days. If there's something you're not sure of and you're not feeling it, put it on the back burner for a little bit. Okay. And then for the next 90 days, I want you to make a new vision board. Just for the next 90 days. I want you to make a vision board that is for the next 90 days. Things you want to do in the next 3 months. Not the big goals. Again, we know the big goals. We have them written down. If you want to have a vision board for the overall big goals, have that one too. Have a big vision board with like your big goals of like being on stages, running the marathon, you know, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you want to be a millionaire. I don't know. What you want to start your own business. You want to start a clothing line. Have those big goals on another vision board. Make another one, like a digital one for your laptop or your phone that is just the goals for the next 90 days. So that you see it and you just have a visual representation of what you need to be doing and focusing on. So mine would be a photo of a girl at a podcast studio. Mine would be someone vlogging that I look up to. Mine would be someone in the gym. It doesn't have to be someone who was at the finish line of my big goals. It's someone who's completing the process in the beginning. That way I get motivated, because you know a vision board really motivates you for the big stuff, but you need something to motivate you for the in-between. I don't want like the first class flight right now. I want the girl who's like working hard at her career, but the first class flight is on my big vision board. That's another goal. I want to be able to fly first class. You know, I did it once when we went to India, because we flew to India for a wedding and we really didn't have a choice because it was like a 36-hour trip. And when we landed, we would like sleep, and then like the next day was the wedding. I'm like, we're going to be out of it. So we booked a first class flight there. It was wonderful. Okay. The food was wonderful. I slept in the bed. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to ask for help and I looked like a newbie. It was fine. We got to go in the lounge and they brought me coffee. I was like, I want this. But that's not my 90-day sprint. That is my bigger goal. But I know that the stuff I'm doing now in my 90-day sprints helps me get there, because I am working on my career, which helps me for my overall success. So maybe on my big future vision board, I have the first class flight. But my 90-day one has what I'm focusing on, the YouTube stuff, the podcast stuff, the health stuff, because that way I can focus on this and not get so overwhelmed and think I have so far to go. I can actually cheer myself on for the little baby steps. See? So come up with your big goals, your small goals, what you're going to focus on for 90 days, and then take those 90-day things and put them on a vision board that you can see every single day. I want you to put it on your iPhone background, your phone background, your iPad background, something that you will see all the time. It only has to be a few photos too. It doesn't have to be like a big vision board with all these photos. It can be 5 photos, 1 quote that really gets you going for 90 days. And then next, I want you to start journaling. When I started the Artist Way, I swear it changed my life. And that is, I think it's a 4 months? 3 or 4 months where every single day you write 3 pages. And the Artist Way is really all about, she kind of sees everyone as an artist. It was originally written for writers, but the thing is, the whole point of the book, you kind of realize, is that she sees art as creating your life. Like, creating your life is art, and she really believes that if you're not creating your life, someone else is creating it for you. So through the exercises in the Artist Way, you start to go on these like artist dates where you have to take yourself out on dates and you're really getting in tune with your thoughts. I think doing the Artist Way got me so in tune with my real goals and my intuition than anything else I've ever done. Because that was the first time, after like 2 months of writing every single day, I finally one day wrote in the middle of the Artist Way. I was like, I admitted to myself that I quit YouTube because I was embarrassed of that during the time when my mom passed, when, you know, I stopped posting, instead of just coming back and being like embarrassed that my views were low at first, because I was gone for a year and a half. Instead of doing that, I left for another year and a half. You know, instead of being like, hey guys, I took a year off because my mom passed, and working hard on it, I was like, I'm too embarrassed about this. I'm just going to pretend that I'm okay with the fact that I let it go, and I'm just going to nothing. See, that made me sad. I was like, oh my gosh, I just admitted that I let myself go on one of my goals because of my embarrassment and my fear, and not because I actually wanted to. I got so in tune with my actual thoughts that I started to realize what I really wanted in life. And I started to realize my own negative thoughts towards my work and how negative and hard I had been on myself. And that even though I might not hear those thoughts, they were somewhere in their subconscious. Because when you're writing 3 pages every single day, it will start to come out. Eventually, you'll be writing things that you're like, I don't even know where that came from. But it came from in here, so obviously I felt it. Obviously, I thought it. And then I had to work on it and work through it. And it made it so much easier where I can now comfortably say, like, it's okay if my channel views are low right now. It's not, and I also wrote down, I had to realize to get back to the it's not vanity metrics, it's people. My first upload back got like 600 views, and a couple months ago when I had quit, like for the 3 years, if I had uploaded that and saw that, I would have been like, oh, I'm a failure. Because I worked through that, I'm like, wait, that's 600 people that have not seen me upload in almost 3 years. They've seen me upload like 2 or 3 times and inconsistently say, hey guys, I'm coming back, and then ghost, but they still decided to click anyways. These people do care. And I'm like, you have to be like, when we, instead of that whole thought of like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing how far I have to go. I'm like, no, this is part of my progress. This 600 is great. This is big progress. I should be really proud of those 600 people and myself for those people to want to show up. I should be so grateful for those 600 people that showed up for me, that wanted to watch and support. And when you change that mindset, oh, it just makes it so much easier. I also think another thing that helps is having an accountability partner. If you have a friend who also wants to do the 90-day steps or the 90-day sprints, you can share your 90-day sprints with each other. Let the other person know exactly what you're doing every week. Like, here's my 90-day goal. Here's what I would like to do every week. Keep each other accountable. You can make a shared notes app. I didn't realize you could do that. Me and my friend Brooke did this in the beginning of the year when we first did our 90-day sprints. We did a shared notes app where it's like, I said, I want to do X, Y, and Z 3 days a week. She wants to do X, Y, and Z 2 or 3 days a week, or no, 4 days a week, whatever it is we want. And we would like put little check marks or X marks when we did it. Mine was, I think I was doing the Artist Way at the time, so I wanted to do my Artist Day every week. I wanted to do my 3 pages a day. And then she would see whether or not I completed it. And I think when you know someone's watching, you're more likely to be like, okay, I better just do it. You know, so get an accountability partner if you can. Right now, me and Noah have been doing this. He's also doing some accountability stuff because he's been, now he's into biking. He's got a bike race coming up, so we've been keeping each other accountable. And it's been really fun. And we've also been cheering each other on. Like when he does like a bike day, I make sure I'm supporting him. And when I do this, he came with me and he was like helping me set up. And he's always telling me like how proud he is. I think having a good support system is everything. And if you have people around you that you don't feel like they're supporting you, zip it. It is better to be quiet about your goals when you're working on them and to have your own, like your motivation, than to have someone else that doesn't get it trying to give you feedback. They don't have that light bulb moment. They don't understand it. You don't need them to understand it. Because when you get there, they're going to ask you how you did it, okay? So I want you to take these next 90 days. I want you to get really clear, and I want you to put your effort into it. And then the biggest important part is you have to match your energy, you know, to the outcome. If you want your outcome to feel inspired and like abundant and wonderful, then when you're working towards it, even if you don't have it yet, you got to put that energy out there. I could sit down and be like, oh, you know, my first YouTube video of this on my new podcast page only got 50 listens. I mean, on my actual, like the audio version got like a lot more listens. But like, say I was like, oh my God, only 50 people watched the video version. Maybe I should just stick to audio version. That's not the version of you that shows up, that goes on stages. The version of you that shows up is like, nope, I'm going to make sure those 50 people are glad they clicked this video. I'm going to make sure they want to stick around for the next one. That is a part of you that has to show up. You got to get your energy right. Find the meditation, the visualization music that whenever you get in that, like, oh man, get your Delulu energy back up. Okay? Get the it girl energy back up. I will find some resources of like playlists and sounds that I like, and I will put them in the description of the podcast and below the YouTube video. Okay? Because this is your time. Show up as a version of you that will be there at the end goal too. That version of you already exists. You just got to show up now. Show the universe you're all in. You are betting on yourself. You're taking big moves. And I bet you the universe will meet you halfway, okay? And you'll start noticing the more you expect it to work out, the more it will work out. And listen, you got to know there will be time when it doesn't work out perfectly. There will be bumps in the road. You have to see these as redirection. You have to see it as little obstacles to show how badly you want it. This is not, oh, I messed up, it's over. This is, I'm going to get back up and keep going. This is part of the process, okay? Do not let a small little blip keep you from that big magical ending, okay? You get back up and you keep going. Every single time. It's not a failure until you quit. Stumbling is part of the process. Every person who has made it big has stumbled over and over and over. It's about how many times they get back up until they show the universe, I can handle this. And the universe is like, all right, they've proved it, they can handle it. Let's let them have it, okay? I love you so much. Let me know, what are your goals for your 90-day sprints? If you want to share with me, I will help keep you accountable. If you want individual tips that might help you with your goal, honestly, leave them in the comments of the YouTube video. Or if you're not watching the YouTube video, you can go find it, leave comments, or you can also DM me on Instagram if you want. Tell me like what your specific goal is of like what it is you're trying to find. I will say, if you want to leave it a public comment on YouTube, that will help other people that are maybe like want to scroll through and get ideas as well. But you can also DM me if you want to, keep it private. And I will send you individual tips of what I think you should do, of, I can help you find photos for your vision board, all that different stuff, because I am here for you and I'm ready for your success. We're not flopping, okay? All of us together, the next 90 days, we're going to watch our flop era slide away. We're in our slay era now, okay? Get ready. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.